Hello there, and welcome to a quiet corner of the night. Perhaps you are already lying down, your head nestled into the pillow, or maybe you are listening while the faint hum of a ceiling fan drifts above you. Outside, the streetlights glow like little orange planets, keeping vigil as the world around you softens into silence. This is a moment carved out for curiosity to slow down, for your breathing to find its rhythm, for your eyes to grow heavy while the universe unfolds in thought. Imagine the sound of your own inhale and exhale echoing like tides against the shore, carrying you inward to a calm place where stories of the cosmos arrive not as lectures, but as lullabies. Tonight we begin a journey into the mysteries that space has whispered to us. 50 of the strangest, most puzzling discoveries, each one like a lantern flickering in the darkness, each one asking us to look a little longer at the night sky. You do not need to remember them all. You do not need to analyze them. All you need is to drift with me gently as we wander across these quiet landscapes of thought. The universe, after all, is not in a hurry. Stars are born in slow silence, their light traveling across millions of years before ever brushing your window. Planets circle with patient grace. Even comets, streaking with fire, are in no rush at all when measured against the canvas of eternity. So why should we hurry here in this small hour of the night? Let us slow down enough to feel what it means to wonder. Perhaps you are listening from your bed phone dimmed in your hand, or maybe from a bus moving through a sleeping city. Wherever you are, pause and notice the stillness around you. Notice the softness in your shoulders as you allow them to sink. Notice the way the night air feels cool or warm, dry or humid, and let it be part of the experience. This moment is yours. This space is yours. And so is the vast cosmos that waits to share its secrets. 50 discoveries might sound like a catalogue, but tonight they will arrive more like dreams, slow and glowing, strange, and sometimes almost unbelievable. Some of them are pieces of science that even researchers describe with awe, like pulsars spinning faster than a kitchen blender. Others are echoes of myths and symbols carried from ancient firesides, when people looked up and tried to explain the wandering lights. Together they form a mosaic that is not about answers, but about reverence for the unknown. Let me set the stage. The first breath of this story is not a fact or a formula, but a feeling. Imagine a horizon at dusk, painted in deep blue fading to black, where the first star trembles into view. In that trembling point of light is a mystery older than language. For centuries, sailors trusted it, lovers wished upon it, and poets wrote about it. Yet science tells us that star might already be gone, its light only now reaching us after traveling across distances so vast they fold the mind. What we see is not what is there. What we think we know is always a ghost of the real, and in that gap lives mystery. The first of the 50 discoveries is not a single object, but a truth hidden in plain sight. The universe is stranger than our senses were built to handle. Human eyes can only perceive a narrow band of light, yet the cosmos hums in radio waves, pulses in X-rays, dances in ultraviolet streams. It is as though we walk through a gallery, blindfolded, our hands brushing against just one corner of an infinite mural. The mystery is not only in what we see, but in what forever escapes our sight. And still there is a comfort here, because even within our limits, we have found beauty. We have found galaxies swirling like frozen whirlpools, nebulae glowing in colours. No painter could have imagined black holes bending light, as though the universe were a hall of mirrors. To list them as discoveries is almost misleading. They are more like encounters, like stumbling upon a doorway left ajar in the night. Let your mind wander for a moment. Imagine you are floating above the Earth, looking down at the thin blue veil of atmosphere hugging the planet. The curve of the horizon is gentle, the lights of cities flickering like veins of fire across the darkness. From this height, every war, every argument, every hurried worry dissolves into silence. The only sound is your own breathing inside the helmet, steady and calm. And far beyond, scattered across blackness, are the mysteries we are about to visit. We will move slowly, not racing to the end. We will let each discovery appear as though it were a star rising on the edge of the night. One after another, 50 in total, though in truth the number could be endless. Each one will hold us for a while, will invite us to linger, and then we will let it drift by the way. A dream slips away upon waking. So here we are at the threshold. Outside your window, the real night continues unbothered by our questions. The crickets sing, the hum of distant cars fades, and above it all, space keeps its secrets. But together, we will step softly into those secrets, guided not by urgency, but by the simple pleasure of wondering. Take another breath. Inhale slowly, exhale gently. Let your body remember what it feels like to rest. The mysteries of the universe are not heavy to carry. They are like feathers floating down, landing lightly on the surface of your thoughts. Tonight, let them gather there, a quiet constellation built only for you. And with that, we begin. What if the strangest discoveries in the universe are not random accidents, but messages? Messages not in words or symbols, but in patterns of light, in shapes of matter, in the quiet rhythm of gravity. The universe does not write letters yet. It speaks in a language of strangeness, pulses that never miss a beat, voids so large they could swallow 100 galaxies, whispers of particles that pass through us by the trillions every second. Could it be that the mysteries we find are not scattered curiosities, but chapters in a story too vast for us to finish? Consider this. When astronomers first listened to the steady ticking of a pulsar, they thought it might be a beacon from another intelligence. The signal was too precise, too steady, like a cosmic metronome. They even labeled it LGM, Little Green Men. Of course, later they learned it was the spin of a collapsed star. But the fact that our first instinct was to think of communication reveals something. Somewhere deep inside, we are tuned to hear the universe as though it might be speaking back. And what about the great voids? Those vast bubbles in space, where for hundreds of millions of light years almost nothing exists. Why should emptiness itself be arranged in such elegant patterns, filaments and gaps that resemble a cosmic web? Some scientists suggest it is just gravity at work pulling matter into clusters. Others wonder if it hints at structures beyond our comprehension, like the framework of a greater design. What if the strangeness is not a flaw in our understanding, but the point itself? The central question of this night, the one we will carry through each of the 50 mysteries, is simple and infinite at once. What does it mean that the universe is stranger than we expected? We could say it is just ignorance, that we have not yet learned enough, that tomorrow's telescope or the next decade's equations will make today's mystery seem ordinary. And that may be true, but even then, another layer of strangeness will wait behind it, like peeling bark from an endless tree. The mysteries multiply as we solve them. It is as though the universe is designed to remain slightly out of reach, always giving us enough to marvel at, never enough to close the book. There is comfort in that too. Imagine if the universe was small, predictable, already mapped in detail. Imagine if every star had been catalogued, every law already written, every surprise already explained away. Wouldn't that make the night sky feel smaller? Instead, we look up and see something that is both endless and endlessly mysterious, and that mystery becomes part of our humanity. To wonder is to be alive. So let us hold this question close as we drift deeper. What if the strangeness itself is the gift? What if the peculiar discoveries, stars that sing in radio waves, planets that rain, diamonds, galaxies colliding like dancers in slow motion are not puzzles to be solved once and for all, but lullabies meant to keep us awake to wonder? As you listen, let yourself imagine the universe leaning close, not to give you answers, but to whisper, "Stay curious." Perhaps that is the only message we were ever meant to hear. And so, with this question glowing quietly in our thoughts, we step forward toward the first of the 50 strange discoveries. Each one will be a window, a lantern, a doorway. But above them all, this question will hover like a constellation, reminding us that mystery is not a problem to solve, but a place to dwell. Take a slow breath. Notice how the air feels as it leaves your chest. Let it carry the question with it, light as starlight, soft as night. The journey is only beginning. Perhaps you are listening with your eyes already closed, the world fading around you into the quiet rhythm of your own breath. Or maybe you are still half awake, scrolling absent-mindedly, waiting for sleep to arrive. Wherever you are, on a bed warmed by a heavy blanket, on a couch in the glow of a small lamp, or even on a long ride through the night, you are part of this journey now. The universe does not require equipment or a telescope or even clear skies. All it asks is a moment of stillness, a willingness to drift with the questions it leaves in our path. You may notice as the words move slowly that your body begins to soften. Your shoulders fall back against the mattress or the seat. The small muscles around your eyes release. Even your hands, whether folded or open, begin to let go of the day. In this state, the mysteries we speak of do not weigh you down. Instead, they float by like lanterns on a river. You do not have to hold them tightly. Simply let them pass, glowing one after another. I wonder where you are listening from tonight. Is it a city where the lights blur the stars, or a countryside where the sky is a black ocean salted with constellations? Are you hearing the hum of an air conditioner, or the distant bark of a dog, or the hush of rain against glass? Each sound becomes part of the experience woven into this quiet story of the universe. There is no wrong way to listen. There is only the slow unfolding of curiosity paired with rest. If you are here for knowledge, you will find fragments of it, pulsars, quasars, galaxies stretching into infinity. If you are here for calm, you will find that too, tucked into the pauses in the gentle rhythm of words. And if you are here simply because sleep has been difficult to catch, then let this be your companion, a soft voice walking beside you through the hours until morning. There is something comforting about knowing that thousands of others may also be listening, each in their own space under the same vast sky. Some may already be asleep, their phones dimmed, the story continuing in their dreams. Others may be like you, awake, but surrendering little by little, each sentence a step closer to rest. Together, though we may never meet, we form a constellation of listeners scattered across the world, yet connected by wonder. And if you wish, you are welcome to join this constellation more fully. You can leave a small note, a comment about where you listened from or what thought lingered in your mind. You can choose to subscribe so that each night when the world grows heavy and quiet, you will know there is always a place to return, to always another story waiting. No pressure, no urgency, just an invitation to come back when curiosity calls you. So let this moment be personal. Let it belong to you. Maybe tonight, you needed a reminder that the universe is not only full of unanswered questions, but also full of beauty waiting to be noticed. Maybe tonight you simply needed a voice to keep you company while you let go. Either way, you are here, and that is enough. The mysteries ahead will not vanish if you fall asleep. They will still be here tomorrow, patient and timeless, just as the stars are patient. For now, the gift is this gentle drift, this soft companionship between your thoughts and the wide, waiting cosmos. Take another slow breath. Inhale gently, exhale fully. Let your eyelids feel heavier, and if they close, let them stay closed. You are safe, you are steady, and the story will carry you onward, whether you are awake or already dreaming. And with that, we prepare to step into the first great frame of the cosmic picture, deep time, where the scale of the universe stretches beyond measure, and where strangeness becomes our guide. Close your eyes for a moment, and imagine the clock of your life. Perhaps it stretches 80 years, perhaps more, measured in birthdays and seasons, in the turning of school days, into work days, in the slow fading of one generation into the next. It feels long when we live it, yet, on the scale of the cosmos, it is almost nothing less than the blink of an eye, less than the flicker of a single star. To understand the strangeness of the universe, we must first breathe in the idea of deep time, time so vast, it does not fit into numbers but into sensations. Picture a mountain range, tall and jagged. Over millions of years, wind and rain shave its peaks, rivers cut valleys, glaciers grind stone into sand. To us, a mountain is eternal, but to the universe, it is as temporary as a snowflake. Now stretch further, stars ignite live and collapse over billions of years. Galaxies dance toward each other for eons before colliding, their spirals folding into new shapes. Even black holes, those patient giants, will someday evaporate, leaving only faint whispers of energy behind. Deep time does not measure days or years. It measures in transformations in the slow weaving and unweaving of existence. When we speak of 50 strange discoveries, they are all entangled in this vast timescale. A pulsar spinning 100 times each second has already been spinning for millions of years, its rhythm steady as a heartbeat that will outlast every human civilization. A galaxy glowing at the edge of the visible universe shines from a past so ancient that when its light left Earth was not yet formed. The mysteries we touch tonight are less about what is out there and more about when they belong. They belong to ages so immense that our lifetimes become whispers folded inside them. And yet, this is not meant to make us feel small in despair. There is a calm joy in realizing that the universe moves with patience. Your breath tonight is a fragile rhythm, yes, but it is also part of the same unfolding that spins galaxies and ages stars. Inhale, and you mirror the expansion of space. Exhale, and you echo the quiet fading of ancient suns. Deep time is not against us, it is with us, a river that carries all things together. Imagine now the Earth itself as a traveler, 4.5 billion years old, carrying continents like rafts drifting on molten seas, wearing rings of ice, and forests like changing garments. Civilizations come and go, but the planet keeps its slow dance around the sun unhurried, steady. From the perspective of deep time, your worries, an unanswered message, a restless night, are like sparks flying from a campfire, bright for a moment, then dissolving into the dark. And yet even those sparks matter, for they belong to the story of light. If you could float outside of time for a moment, watching the film of history sped up, you would see mountains, breathing, oceans, surging stars, blooming and fading like flowers. The frame of the universe would not be static, but alive, constantly reshaping itself in ways too slow for daily eyes to see. This is why the strange discoveries astonish us, because they are windows into processes so large and so old that they make us pause, even if only for a heartbeat, and feel the sweep of eternity. As you rest, let the idea of deep time cradle you. You do not have to grasp the numbers, the billions or trillions. You only have to feel the softness of patience, the assurance that everything has its moment and that mysteries will continue to unfold long after we are gone. This is not a loss, it is a gift. It means that wonder is endless, that there will always be more to discover, more to dream about, more to lull us into sleep beneath the stars. Take another breath, slow and quiet. Let the weight of time slip from your shoulders. Tonight, you are not racing against the clock. Tonight, you are resting inside it, part of a story that began before you and will continue after you, a story written not in minutes, but in light and shadow, in birth and return. And with that, we step gently into the first layer of strangeness, the foundations of cosmic science, where even the simplest forces of nature turn out to be far more mysterious than they appear. The mysteries of the cosmos do not always come from what is far away. Sometimes they come from the very fabric of reality itself. Before we even look at pulsars or quasars or black holes, let us pause to feel the stage on which all of these wonders unfold. The universe is not a simple emptiness. It is a strange, delicate balance of conditions that make its very existence feel like a riddle. Consider the idea of vacuum. We might think of space as empty as nothing. Yet the truth is more curious. Even in the most silent, void particles flicker in and out of being like sparks from an invisible fire. Physicists call them quantum fluctuations, but you do not need the math to sense their beauty. Imagine a dark pond at night where ripples appear on the surface, though no stone has been thrown. The universe itself seems restless alive, with small whispers of creation that never stop. Or think of the background radiation that hums across the sky. It is the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, a light so ancient it has been stretched into microwaves by the swelling of space. This glow is everywhere, passing through your room, through your body, through the very device you are listening on. It is like a cosmic lullaby, the cradle song of the universe's birth, still echoing billions of years later. To lie here tonight and breathe is in some quiet sense, to rest in the warmth of that first fire. And then there is gravity. We take it for granted. It holds us to earth. It makes a cup fall when dropped. But in the grand design of the cosmos, gravity is astonishingly weak. A single magnet on your refrigerator is strong enough to resist the pull of the entire earth. Why should that be? Why should one of the most fundamental forces be tuned so delicately that it shapes stars and galaxies yet allows atoms and life to exist? Scientists have no complete answer. It is as though gravity whispers rather than shouts, a patient hand that guides rather than commands. The more we look, the more the stage itself feels uncanny. Space expands, stretching galaxies apart with a speed that grows faster over time. This acceleration, attributed to something called dark energy, makes up most of the universe, and yet we do not know what island. It is like sailing on a vast sea, without ever seeing the wind, only feeling its effect on the sails. Dark energy, dark matter, hidden particles, all are hints that the universe is built from ingredients we cannot yet name. And here we are lying in the quiet of the night, listening to this. Perhaps it feels overwhelming, but let it not be a weight. Instead, let it be a soft wonder. You do not need to solve these riddles. Just let them drift through your mind like constellations. Imagine the universe as a grand theatre, and these strange conditions are the backdrop: shifting lights, whispered sounds, currents of unseen energy, setting the stage for the 50 wonders we will visit. It is remarkable, too, that these conditions allow us to exist at all. If gravity was slightly stronger, stars would burn out too quickly. If it were weaker, they might never ignite. If the expansion of space were slower or faster by the smallest fraction, galaxies might never have formed, and with them no Earth, no life, no listener lying quietly tonight. Some call this coincidence. Some call it fine-tuning. Whatever the name it is, a reminder that even the background of the universe, the quiet hum beneath everything, is itself one of its strangest discoveries. Take a slow breath as you let this settle. Feel how light your body is compared to the weight of these questions, and how gentle the night feels against your skin. You do not need to carry the universe. You only need to rest inside it like a passenger on a calm, endless river. And now, with the stage set, we are ready to bring in the voices of myth and story, for humanity has never faced strangeness with silence alone. Always we have told tales to make sense of what we see. And so we turn next, softly, to the ancient stories that tried to explain what science has only begun to glimpse. Long before telescopes reached into the dark, long before satellites sent back images of galaxies, people lifted their eyes and wondered. What they saw was not measured in wavelengths or particles, but in stories. The night sky became a canvas for memory and imagination, a stage where gods, spirits, and creatures traced their patterns among the stars. If the universe felt strange, myth was the first language we used to understand it. In Greece, the constellations were painted with heroes and monsters. Orion, the hunter, still strides across winter nights, his belt a line of 3 stars, his shoulders and knees glowing faintly. To the ancient Greeks, his chase across the heavens was eternal, locked in a battle with Taurus the bull, while the dog star Sirius followed at his side. The sky was not empty. It was alive, crowded with stories that explained why patterns of light appeared as they did. Across the world, in China, the sky was woven into an imperial tapestry. The celestial river we call the Milky Way was imagined as a silver bridge, separating the weaver maiden from her lover, the cowherd. Once a year, on the 7th night of the 7th month, magpies formed a bridge so the two could meet. What astronomy now calls a galaxy of billions of stars was in another lens, a story of longing love and reunion. In the myths of the Maya, the stars were the bones of ancestors, glowing as reminders of cycles of life and death. The dark rift in the Milky Way, that vast lane of shadow, was not emptiness, but the mouth of a cosmic crocodile. To the Polynesians, the stars were navigational spirits guiding canoes across oceans. Each constellation, a compass, rose in the night. For the Norse, the arc of the Milky Way was Bifrost, a rainbow bridge, linking the realm of humans to the halls of the gods. Each culture saw strangeness, and each answered it with symbol. When the aurora rippled across northern skies, some called them spirits dancing, others saw them as fires lit by ancestors to guide the living. When comets blazed, they were omens, sometimes of disaster, sometimes of change. When eclipses darkened, the sun stories told of dragons devouring it or gods demanding attention. The strange became a mirror in which humanity saw itself. Even now, though we know comets are frozen wanderers and eclipses are the shadow play of orbits, the old symbols linger. We still say a person is star-crossed in love. We still make wishes when a meteor streaks across the sky. Somewhere inside, we continue to treat the universe not only as science, but as story. Perhaps that is because the cosmos is too vast to be carried by equations alone. It needs poetry. It needs symbol. It needs myths that allow us to rest in mystery without demanding an answer. And as you listen now, perhaps half asleep, these old tales become part of the lullaby. They remind us that wonder is not new. Every person who has ever looked at the stars has felt the same pause, the same hush, the same sense that something beyond explanation watches quietly from the dark. To lie beneath the sky is to join an ancient chorus of storytellers. So let the myths drift through you like dreams. Let Orion walk through your imagination. Let the weaver maiden and the cowherd meet in the river of stars. Let the crocodile open its jaws in the Milky Way. These are not contradictions to science, but companions to it. They are part of the great braid of human thought, twining mystery, meaning, and curiosity together. Take a slow breath. Feel the warmth of these stories. They are as much a part of the universe as galaxies and quasars, because they live inside us, shaping how we see. And with this soft glow of myth still in mind, we turn next to science again, not to replace the stories, but to walk beside them toward a closer look at the strange objects that prove the cosmos is even more uncanny than we once dreamed. From myths and stories we step gently back into science, though here the science itself feels like myth. Some discoveries in the universe are so uncanny, so outside ordinary intuition that they read like legends written in equations instead of poems. Among them are three of the strangest pulsars, quasars, and black holes. Imagine first the pulsar. A star once massive now collapsed into something the size of a city spinning with impossible speed. As it turns, it beams radio waves like a lighthouse sweeping across the sky in perfect rhythm. To astronomers listening with radio dishes, the pulses arrive with such precision that at first they thought it could only be a signal so steady, so exact, like the ticking of a cosmic clock. They named the first one LGM-1, a playful nod to little green men. But it was not alien speech. It was the heartbeat of a dead star, still pulsing, still singing across millions of years. To close your eyes tonight and imagine that rhythm is to rest inside a lullaby, older than humanity itself. Now picture the quasar, a beacon so bright it outshines entire galaxies. At the heart of a quasar lies a black hole millions, even billions of times, the mass of the sun feeding on surrounding matter. As gas spirals inward, it releases energy with a ferocity that makes the quasar blaze across the universe. Some of the light we see from quasars began its journey when Earth was young, when life itself was just beginning its fragile experiment. To look at one through a telescope is to see not just brightness, but ancient history arriving fresh, carried across unimaginable distances. It is as if the cosmos lit lanterns in its farthest halls, so that we would not forget how vast its island, and then the black holes themselves. Nothing captures the imagination quite like them regions, where gravity is so strong that even light cannot escape. We cannot see them directly yet. Their presence reveals itself in how they bend space, twist time, and pull stars into their embrace. Imagine standing at the edge of such a place. Time slows, space warps, the laws you trust begin to dissolve. Scientists describe black holes as singularities, but the word feels more like poetry than physics. They are mysteries wrapped in silence, the ultimate symbols of cosmic strangeness. Together, pulsars, quasars, and black holes form a trinity of awe. Each one defies ordinary understanding. Each one whispers that the universe is built on rules stranger than the stories we grew up with. And yet instead of frightening us, they invite us to wonder. They remind us that knowledge is not the end of mystery, but the beginning of deeper mystery. As you listen now, perhaps your breathing has slowed. Perhaps your body has grown heavier against the bed or chair. Let that heaviness mirror the gravity of black holes pulling you into stillness. Let the rhythm of your breath echo the pulses of ancient stars. Let the warmth of your imagination glow like a quasar burning across the dark. You are in your own way aligned with these wonders, part of the same vast story. Take a moment to notice how the night around you feels. Maybe there is silence. Maybe there are faint sounds, the ticking of a clock, the hum of distant traffic, the sigh of wind. Let those sounds blend with the rhythm of cosmic objects. Let them carry you further into calm. You do not need to hold on to facts. You only need to drift with the feeling that the universe, even at its strangest, is a companion to your rest. And with that, we prepare to step into another layer, not of physics alone, but of meaning. For if the cosmos is this strange, what does it say about our place within it? The next step is not about equations or telescopes, but about philosophy and the quiet questions that echo in the human heart. If the universe is filled with pulsars ticking like clocks, quasars blazing like ancient beacons, and black holes swallowing even light, what does that say about us? This is not only a question of science, but of philosophy. For in the face of such strangeness, we cannot help but ask, where do we belong in a cosmos so vast, so alien, and so enduring? At first glance, we seem small. A human life is a short breath compared to the spin of a pulsar, a faint flicker compared to the blaze of a quasar. Entire civilizations could rise and fall in the time it takes light from a distant galaxy to reach us. It would be easy to feel insignificant, like a speck of dust adrift in an indifferent sea. And yet there is another way to see it. Philosophers across centuries have reminded us that meaning is not measured in size, but in presence. A single moment of wonder, a single act of kindness, a single life lived with awareness can matter as deeply as a galaxy's spiral. We may be small, but we are not empty. We carry within us the same particles that once burned in the hearts of stars. The iron in our blood, the calcium in our bones, the oxygen we breathe. These are the gifts of supernovae scattered across space and gathered into life. To reflect on this is to feel not separation but belonging. Perhaps the strangest discovery of all is not out there among the galaxies, but here in us, that the universe has given rise to beings who can wonder about it. Rocks and rivers do not pause to ask why they exist. Stars and planets do not write stories or dream of what lies beyond. But we do. We carry within us the ability to not only observe strangeness, but to feel it, to give it meaning, to weave it into the soft fabric of human thought. That too is cosmic mystery. Consider this. If we were truly insignificant, would we feel this pull to ask, to imagine, to listen? The very act of wondering is proof that we are participants in the universe, not mere bystanders. It is as though the cosmos, in creating us, has folded back on itself, becoming aware of its own strangeness through our eyes and our questions. The stars shine and we shine back in thought. And so when you lie here tonight, letting your body sink deeper into stillness, you are not separate from the great unfolding of existence. You are part of it. You are one small note in a symphony, but without that note, the music would not be whole. The quiet rhythm of your breathing is as much a part of the universe as the rhythm of a pulsar. The warmth of your heart is as real as the fire of a quasar. The dreams drifting across your mind are as mysterious as the horizon of a black hole. Take comfort in that. Let it be a balm against the feeling of smallness. You are small, yes, but you are also essential, woven into the same fabric as galaxies. To feel awe is to remember that connection. To let wonder carry you into rest is to honor the strange gift of being alive at all. As you breathe, notice again the night around you. Notice how the silence holds you, how the bed cradles you, how the air moves in and out without effort. In this stillness, the great philosophical question lingers. What does it mean to exist in a universe this strange? Do not need to answer it. You only need to let it rest beside you like a companion sitting quietly at your side. And with that, we prepare to turn the mirror inward once more. For philosophy leads naturally to reflection not on galaxies or stars, but on the simple personal moments that tie us to wonder. The next step will not be about the cosmos as a whole, but about you, your memories, and the ordinary fragments of life that shine, like constellations in the mind. When we speak of galaxies and quasars, of pulsars and black holes, the scale can feel so immense that it seems far away from daily life. But wonder is not only for telescopes or observatories. It also lives in the quiet corners of our personal world, in the smallest, most ordinary moments. Sometimes the universe speaks to us not through grand discoveries, but through the reflection of its mystery in our own lives. Think of a night when you walked beneath the moon and the air was cool against your skin. Perhaps the street was silent, the lamps humming faintly, and the moonlight cast long shadows of trees across the ground. In that hush, you might have felt something stir, a recognition that the same moon has shone on every person who has ever lived. The same pale light touched ancient poets, wandering sailors, and children playing in forgotten villages. In that moment, you were not small. You were part of a chain endless and luminous, stretching through time. Or think of rain, the soft patter against a window, the way droplets gather and run in tiny rivers across glass. Each drop is water that once drifted as mist over oceans, that once froze into glaciers, that once fell into rivers long before you were born. To listen to rain is to listen to the earth, breathing a rhythm that echoes the larger rhythms of the cosmos. Even in something as ordinary as weather, you can feel the pulse of eternity. Perhaps, too, you have known the stillness of lying in bed late at night, hearing the hum of a refrigerator, the ticking of a clock, the distant murmur of traffic. These sounds, though simple, carry a quiet resemblance to the background hum of the universe itself, the faint radiation left from the birth of everything. In this way, your own life, your own room, is a mirror of the cosmos, holding within it the same themes of rhythm, silence, and persistence. Reflection can be deeply personal. Maybe you remember watching fireflies as a child, their tiny lights blinking in the dark. Or maybe you remember the way your breath fogged a window on a cold morning. These are not just memories. They are small constellations, points of light in your own story. When gathered together, they form patterns as rich and mysterious as the stars above. Tonight, as you rest, let yourself recall one such moment, perhaps the glow of a candle in a quiet room, perhaps the sound of leaves moving gently in the wind, perhaps the warmth of a loved one's hand in yours. Hold that memory lightly like a pebble in your palm and notice how it makes you feel. Notice how it ties you in some subtle way to the wider mystery of being alive. The truth is, you do not need to travel far to experience the strangeness of the universe. It is already inside you, written in your atoms, reflected in your breath, mirrored in your memories. The cosmos is not only out there, it is also here, close, intimate. To reflect on your own life is to see the same wonder scaled down, softened, and made personal. Take another slow breath. Feel how it rises and falls, effortless and steady. Inhale and think of the countless breaths taken by every living being before you. Exhale and imagine your breath joining the quiet air of the night, merging with the rhythm of the earth, the tides, the stars. You are not separate. You are part of the flow, and as we rest in this reflection, we prepare to widen the circle once more. For the cosmos does not only give us moments of beauty and calm, it also challenges us with opposing views, with doubts and disagreements, with the reminder that mystery is not always accepted easily. And so next we turn to the voices of contrast, the skeptics, the questions, the gentle arguments that remind us wonder is never one-sided. Not everyone looks at the universe and feels awe. For some, the strange discoveries are not signs of wonder, but simply gaps in our knowledge waiting to be closed. Where one person sees mystery, another sees only unanswered questions, and perhaps both are true. The night sky, after all, can hold many perspectives. There are scientists who remind us gently that strangeness is often temporary. Pulsars once seemed like alien beacons, but now they are understood as spinning neutron stars. Quasars once seemed impossible, but now we know them as galaxies with hungry black holes at their cores. What feels mysterious today may with time and better instruments feel ordinary tomorrow. To them, wonder is not in the unknown itself, but in the process of discovery, of turning questions into answers, darkness into light. There are also skeptics who ask, why give the universe meaning at all? Why treat its peculiarities as messages or gifts, or signs of anything beyond themselves? Perhaps they are simply facts. Perhaps the cosmos is not speaking to us. Perhaps we are the ones projecting stories onto it, much as our ancestors drew constellations in the stars. This view is not unkind, it simply refuses to read intention where there may be none. And yet, even in this skepticism there is beauty. To see the universe as indifferent is still to recognize its immensity, its patience, its endurance. It is still to marvel at the fact that in an ocean of silence life has bloomed here on this small world, and that we are capable of noticing. Even if the cosmos has no message for us, the act of listening, of searching, becomes meaningful in itself. There are also debates among scientists. Some argue that the universe is fine-tuned, its laws balanced on a knife's edge to allow life. Others argue that no, it is simply one among countless universes, most of them barren, and we happen to live in the one that works. Some suggest dark matter and dark energy are real forces. Others propose they are illusions, artifacts of equations not yet perfected. In every case, the arguments are careful, thoughtful, and incomplete. None of them close the book. They only add new chapters. What does this mean for us tonight, lying here in the quiet? It means that even disagreement can be restful. The cosmos is wide enough to hold many interpretations. One person may see myth, another science, another pure chance. None are wrong. All are attempts to describe what it feels like to gaze into strangeness. The debates are like different instruments in a symphony, each playing its own line together, forming something richer. So as you listen, let the opposing voices drift through you. Do not cling to one or reject another. Imagine them instead as clouds passing across the moon, shapes that appear shift and move on, leaving the sky just as mysterious as before. Debate does not end wonder. It keeps it alive. It reminds us that truth is not a fixed stone, but a horizon we walk towards step by slow step. Take another slow breath. Inhale the calm. Exhale the noise of certainty. You do not need to pick a side. You only need to rest in the knowing that questions are as important as answers, that doubt itself is part of wonder. And with that gentle recognition, we move onward. If skepticism and science bring us back to earth, imagination can lift us again. The next step is not about facts or arguments, but about creating a scene, a vision, a soft dream of standing within the cosmos itself. We are about to build a world in the mind, one you can step into with all five senses, one that will carry you deeper into the night. Close your eyes if they are not closed already, and let us step into a vision. Imagine that you are standing on the surface of a world far from Earth. The ground beneath your feet is smooth like glass cooled from fire. It glimmers faintly under a violet sky. There is no sound of cars, no hum of electricity, no echo of human voices. Only the hush of wind moving across alien stones, steady and low, like the ocean breathing in the distance. Above you, the heavens are unfamiliar. Instead of the constellations, you know the sky is threaded with rivers of light, streams of stars gathered in long, luminous arcs. Some glow in emerald, some in deep crimson, some in soft blue. A quasar burns at the horizon so bright it feels like a second Sunday. Its glow touches everything, stretching your shadow long across the plain. The stars do not twinkle here. They shimmer steadily, as if holding their breath. You begin to walk. The ground feels cool, almost damp, though no water is visible. With each step, your body grows lighter, as if gravity itself has loosened its hold. The air is thin, but it carries a subtle sweetness, like the scent of rain before it falls. Each inhale is gentle, each exhale a release. You are a traveler now, a guest in this place, carried by the imagination into a landscape no telescope has yet revealed. In the distance, pillars of crystal rise from the plain. They catch the quasar's light and scatter it in prisms, casting shifting rainbows on the dark ground. When you reach out to touch one, it hums faintly, a vibration that moves through your hand and into your chest. It is not music, not exactly, but a resonance, as though the crystal is tuned to the same rhythm as your heartbeat. You pause, letting the sound wash through you, and realize that even in strangeness there can be harmony. The wind shifts, carrying with it a sound like distant chimes. You follow it, and soon you find a valley where the air is filled with floating lights, tiny orbs drifting like fireflies. They move in patterns, swirling and scattering, gathering again in waves. For a moment you wonder if they are alive, or if they are simply the play of energy in this world. Either way, they surround you, gently hovering near without fear, their glow soft on your skin. You tilt your head back and notice that the sky itself seems alive. The rivers of stars are moving slowly, weaving across each other like threads on a loom. The whole cosmos above looks less like a ceiling, and more like a tapestry being woven in real time. You cannot tell whether the pattern has a beginning or an end. You can only stand in awe watching the slow dance, knowing it will continue long after you are gone. And as you breathe in this imagined world, you realize that it does not matter whether it exists in reality. The act of imagining is itself a way of stepping closer to the cosmos. You do not need to stand on alien soil to feel wonder. You only need to let your senses travel, to allow your mind to paint a picture and rest inside it. The universe is not only out there, it is also within, ready to unfold behind closed eyes. Take a moment to let this scene settle. Feel the glassy ground beneath you. Hear the hum of the crystal pillars. See the rivers of light stretching above. Let it cradle you like a dream that holds instead of slips away. And then slowly we will shift again. For every world we build in the mind, there are metaphors, waiting images that help us make sense of what cannot be explained. In the next step, we will gather these metaphors deep and resonant, and see how they help us weave together science, myth, and wonder into a single quiet thread. Sometimes the only way to hold the vastness of the universe is through metaphor. Facts can outline the edges, but it is metaphor that gives us a way to feel them, to carry them close to the heart. Tonight, let us gather a few such images, soft, simple pictures that help explain why the cosmos feels so endlessly strange. The universe, for instance, can be imagined as a great library. Each star, each galaxy is a book resting on a shelf. We wander the aisles with a single candle, picking up volumes one by one. Sometimes we open them and find entire histories written in fire and dust. Other times we touch the spine of a book so vast we cannot lift it. And often as we walk, books fall from the higher shelves, unexpected landing at our feet. These are the strange discoveries, surprises that remind us how little of the library we have yet explored. Or think of the universe as an ocean. Galaxies are islands scattered across a dark sea. Between them stretch currents of energy, tides of gravity, waves of light. To travel across it is to drift endlessly, never touching the bottom, never seeing all the shores. Some islands blaze with brightness like quasars. Some are quiet, dark, hidden beneath storms. And beneath the waves lie creatures we have never seen, forces like dark matter, invisible but powerful. This metaphor reminds us that to live is to be a sailor on a boat we did not build, carried by waters we can barely chart. Another image, the universe as a great woven tapestry. Imagine threads of light and shadow interlaced, some pulled tight, some loose together, forming patterns too large for any one person to see. We stand close to the weave, our noses almost pressed against it. We see only a knot here, a strand there. But step back. If such a step were possible, and perhaps the knots become shapes, the shapes become pictures, the pictures become a design. The mystery is that we may never step back far enough to see the whole, and yet the beauty is that we are part of the fabric woven into its very pattern. Even gravity itself, that quiet force, can be held in metaphor. Imagine the universe as a vast trampoline stretched tight. Place a marble on it, and it rolls gently. Place a heavy stone, and the fabric dips, pulling the marble toward it. This is how mass shapes space, how planets circle stars, how black holes bend time itself. The trampoline is invisible, but the motions it creates are undeniable. To picture it this way is to make the unseen tangible, to turn abstraction into touch. These metaphors do not replace science. They walk beside it like companions on a nighttime path. They give us handles to hold onto so that the mysteries do not slip entirely from our grasp. They remind us that understanding is not only about equations but also about imagination. For when we imagine, we do not reduce the cosmos, we join it in our own human way. As you rest now, let one of these images linger with you. Maybe the library with its endless aisles and secret volumes. Maybe the ocean with its islands and currents. Maybe the tapestry with its knots and threads. Whichever you choose, let it soften into your thoughts a picture you can carry into dreams. Take another slow breath. Inhale the image, exhale the need to solve it. Let the metaphor cradle you not as a puzzle but as a comfort. For in metaphors the strange becomes gentle and the unreachable becomes close. And with this calm in mind, we will move soon into another imagined world, one different from the last. A place where the view shifts, where the familiar becomes unfamiliar, where the cosmos reminds us that every perspective can be turned upside down. Let us build another world together, but this time let us turn the picture upside down. In the first imagined landscape, you stood on alien ground and looked up at the sky. Now imagine instead that you are the sky, and it is Earth that gazes back at you. You float above the planet, not as a traveller in a suit of metal and glass, but as a presence, a vast awareness spread across the dark. The continents pass beneath you like drifting leaves on a river. The lights of cities shimmer like constellations drawn in reverse patterns of human fire instead of stars. From this height, the line between Earth and the heavens dissolves. The planet is no longer below. It is within the same tapestry as you. Now, shift further. Imagine that the roles are reversed. It is not humans looking out at galaxies, but galaxies looking in at us. The Milky Way bends its spiral to peer toward our small world. Pulsars tick their steady rhythm, not outward but inward, as if listening to our thoughts. A quasar at the edge of time does not simply blaze, it watches its light falling on us like an ancient eye. Suddenly the universe is not a stage we observe, but an audience observing us. How does it feel to be seen this way? Perhaps it is humbling, like standing on a stage under countless lights. Perhaps it is comforting, like being held in a gaze too vast to judge, too old to condemn. In this reversal, we are not the explorers but the explored, not the observers but the observed. The strangeness becomes intimate, as though the cosmos bends closer to listen to the sound of our breath, the beating of our fragile hearts. Let yourself feel it, the quiet of lying in bed, the blanket pulled up the room dim. Now imagine that above you, not just stars, but whole galaxies lean closer, curious, patient, tender. They do not demand answers. They do not measure you against their immensity. They simply notice you the way you might notice a firefly glowing in the grass. For a moment you realize that strangeness is not always distant. Sometimes it is the gentle fact of being seen. And then another reversal. Imagine that you are not human at all, but the anomaly. The cosmos is full of stars, galaxies, black holes, common in their own strange way. But life consciousness, awareness, these are rare. Perhaps the universe looks at us the way we look at quasars, baffled, amazed, unable to fully explain. In this sense, we are the mystery, we are the discovery, the thing that makes the cosmos pause and wonder. Take a slow breath, and let that thought rest. Inhale knowing you are part of the infinite fabric. Exhale knowing you are also its enigma. You are the universe asking itself a question. And so, in this reversed world, meaning tilts. What once seemed far becomes close. What once seemed strange in the stars becomes strange in us. It is a reminder that perspective is everything that wonder lives, not only in what we see, but also in how we choose to see it. With this shift in mind, we will move gently onward, for strangeness is not only about objects or perspectives. It is about the weaving of knowledge and wonder, science and philosophy, each note answering the other in a quiet duet. And that is where we will go next, into the harmony of fact and thought, a soft music made of stars and questions. Science gives us facts. Philosophy gives us meaning. When they move together, the universe becomes not just a map of objects, but a song of questions and answers, a quiet harmony of knowledge and wonder. Tonight, let us listen to that harmony, slowly, as though each note were a lantern glowing in the dark. Take, for instance, the pulsar. Science tells us it is a neutron star, collapsed into incredible density, spinning with perfect rhythm. But philosophy asks, what does it mean that a dead star can still sing, that something which has ended continues to echo, not in silence but in order? The pulsar becomes more than physics. It becomes a reminder that endings are not always. Endings that rhythm can outlast the source of its sound, or the galaxies colliding in slow spirals. Science explains gravity pulling them together, stars swinging in arcs, clouds of gas igniting new suns. But philosophy wonders if even galaxies embrace and merge. What does that say about separation? About union? Perhaps nothing is truly apart forever. Perhaps even the coldest distances are temporary, and all things eventually find one another. Dark matter, too, carries its dual voice. Science admits it is invisible, detectable only by its gravitational pull. We cannot see it, cannot touch it, cannot explain it fully. Philosophy leans in and asks, is this not the perfect metaphor for the unseen parts of ourselves? The gravity of memory, of longing, of dreams shaping our lives, though we cannot measure them. The cosmos becomes not only a riddle of physics, but a mirror of the human soul. And then there is deep time. Science measures it in billions of years, in epochs and aeons. Philosophy asks, what is a lifetime against such vastness? And then answers gently, a lifetime is still infinite to the one who lives it. To be finite in an infinite universe is not a flaw, it is a form of beauty. It gives weight to every breath, every glance, every word spoken under the stars. This weaving of fact and meaning is not a competition. It is a duet, a call and response. Science says, here is how. Philosophy replies, here is why it matters. Together, they create a rhythm that is both precise and tender, a balance that cradles the human spirit instead of overwhelming it. As you lie here listening, you may notice that the lines blur. The science slips into poetry. The philosophy anchors itself in data. And perhaps that is how it has always been. When the first humans looked at the sky, they were scientists and philosophers at once, observing the motions, making predictions, telling stories. Even now, with telescopes reaching to the edge of time, we remain both. We measure and we wonder. We analyze and we dream. Take a slow breath. Let science be the inhale, firm, clear, structured. Let philosophy be the exhale, soft, reflective, open. Together they make the rhythm of understanding steady as your heartbeat. And with that rhythm holding us, we prepare to step into a softer space. For even in wonder, even in knowledge, the body asks for rest. And so next we will pause for a while, not to analyze, not to imagine, but simply to breathe, to let the silence of the cosmos flow into our own silence. The universe is vast, and so is the mind that tries to hold it. But even wonder needs a pause. Even curiosity benefits from stillness. Let us take a moment now, not to explore, not to question, not to imagine, but simply to breathe. Close your eyes if they are not already closed. Notice the surface beneath you, whether it is a bed, a couch, or a seat on a quiet journey. Let your body sink into it, supported, safe. Feel how the weight of the day begins to drift away, piece by piece, like dust floating from an open window. Inhale, slowly counting to 4 if you wish. Hold the breath for just a heartbeat, then exhale longer than the inhale, like a sigh you did not know you were holding. Do it again. Inhale, gently hold, exhale softly. Each breath is a tide, washing away the restlessness, leaving behind only calm. Now let your shoulders soften. Let the muscles of your face relax, the forehead, the jaw, even the small space around your eyes. Feel the heaviness in your arms and legs as though gravity has deepened, holding you in a cradle of quiet. There is no need to move. The universe turns without your effort. You are free to be still. Notice the sounds around you. Maybe it is silence. Maybe it is a faint hum, a distant car, the whisper of leaves, or the rhythm of rain. Whatever you hear, let it blend into the background part of the music of the night. Nothing disturbs you here. Everything supports your rest. Now picture yourself as a speck of light, small and steady, floating in the darkness of space. There is no urgency, no destination. You drift, gently carried by invisible currents. Stars glimmer far away, but they do not rush you. They simply shine, patient, eternal. You are part of this calm ocean, one note in its endless song. As you breathe, feel how your body becomes lighter, softer, more at ease. Each inhale gathers tension, each exhale releases it. With every breath, you are more deeply connected to stillness, as though the universe itself were breathing with you. Stay here for a few moments. No pressure, no need to think, no need to hold on to words. Just breathe. Just rest. Let your mind and body find the peace they deserve. And when you are ready, we will continue not with haste, but with gentleness, gathering the threads of wonder we have woven so far. Soon we will bring them together, a soft synthesis of science, myth, and philosophy. But for now, remain in this pause, knowing the journey waits patiently for you. We have wandered through many paths tonight. The silence of deep time, the rhythm of pulsars, the myths of ancestors, the questions of philosophy. Each has been like a thread, different in color, different in texture, but all part of the same tapestry. Now let us pause to weave them together gently so that their harmony can be felt. Science offers us its steady hand. It points to the stars and measures their light, counts their distance, listens to their signals. It gives names to quasars, pulsars, black holes. It tells us how they form, how they move, how they fade. Its voice is clear like the edge of a mountain against the sky. Yet, science does not remove the mystery. It only describes the shape of wonder. Myth offers us its warmth. It takes the same stars and draws hunters and maidens, bridges of magpies, crocodiles hidden in the Milky Way. It tells us stories not of mechanics, but of meaning. It explains not how, but why. The longing, the fear, the hope reflected in the sky. Myth's voice is soft like firelight, flickering against stone walls, carrying echoes of voices long gone. Philosophy brings the mirror. It asks if the universe is this strange. What does that say about us? What does it mean to exist at all? Its questions are not meant to be solved, but to be lived. It looks at science and myth together, and whispers, both are true in their way, both are incomplete, and that is the beauty. When these three voices meet science, myth, philosophy, they do not argue. They harmonize. They become like instruments in an orchestra, each playing its part in the quiet symphony of wonder. The rhythm of pulsars becomes both fact and metaphor. The story of Orion becomes both legend and memory. The thought of deep time becomes both measurement and meditation. Nothing is lost. Everything is enriched. And in the center of this weaving, there is you. You listening in the quiet, carrying these threads within your own mind. Perhaps you lean more towards science, or more towards story, or more toward reflection. It does not matter. What matters is that they all meet inside you, creating a fabric unique to your own experience. The universe is not only out there, it is also in the way you see it, in the way you let these threads braid together. Take a slow breath and feel that weaving. Inhale the clarity of science, exhale the warmth of myth. Inhale the questions of philosophy, exhale the calm of acceptance. With each breath, the tapestry grows richer, softer, more whole. You are not holding pieces anymore. You are resting inside the whole cloth of wonder. And as we lie here in this synthesis, we know the journey is not yet finished. There is still more to gather, more to reflect upon. Soon we will move toward the closing arc, toward the gentle preparation for the end of this night's story. But before we end, we must step across another threshold, soft and steady, into the final chapters of this journey. Every journey has a turning point, a place where the path begins to slope gently toward its end. We have wandered through deep time, through science and story, through reflections both vast and intimate. Now we arrive at a threshold, not a wall, not an abrupt stop, but a soft doorway leading us quietly toward closure. Imagine yourself standing in a twilight field. Behind you are the landscapes you have already crossed, mountains of thought, rivers of myth skies filled with questions. Ahead is a horizon where night deepens into stillness. The path between is smooth, neither long nor short, only present. You stand in that in-between, and there is a calmness in knowing that the journey continues, yet the pace is slowing. The universe itself seems to echo this moment. Stars are born, blaze and fade. Galaxies spin, collide, and merge. Even black holes, patient and silent, are said to evaporate at last. Everything moves through thresholds, through quiet shifts from one state into another. Nothing ends with violence here, not in this vision. Instead, everything transforms softly, like embers cooling into ash, like waves dissolving into shore. As you rest, let yourself feel this gentle slope. The words you hear are fewer, calmer, slower. They do not rush to explain or dazzle. They only prepare like a hand guiding you toward the final notes of a song. You do not need to remember every image, every metaphor, every fact. They have already done their work, shaping the rhythm of your thoughts, carrying you deeper into rest. Perhaps in your mind you still see the library of stars, the ocean of galaxies, the tapestry of threads. Let them fade now into the background like dreams slipping just out of reach. You do not need to hold them tightly. You only need to trust that they are there waiting, part of the vastness you belong to. Take another slow breath. Feel how it rises, how it falls. With each exhale, imagine yourself stepping further across the threshold, further into calm. Let your body grow heavier, your mind quieter, your heart slower. There is no need to strive. The path carries you gently, without effort, without demand. This is the gift of the threshold, to remind you that endings are not abrupt, but transitions. That even as one chapter closes, another waits. And so, as we move closer to the end of this night's story, let us do so not with haste, but with gratitude for the strangeness we have seen, for the wonder we have felt, for the stillness we are resting in now. And soon, very soon, we will gather these threads one last time, not to solve, not to conclude, but to leave the question open, glowing softly like a lantern hung at the edge of the night. We have walked a long path together tonight, through science and myth, through reflections both vast and small. We have stood at the edge of pulsars and quasars, drifted into black holes, listened to ancient stories written in the stars, and asked the quiet questions of philosophy. Now we find ourselves near the end of this journey, but not at an ending, only at an opening. For mystery does not close, it expands. The central question still glows gently in the background. What does it mean that the universe is stranger than we expected? We do not have an answer, and perhaps we never will. But perhaps the answer is not the point. Perhaps the point is the wonder itself, the pause, the stillness that comes from looking into something larger than ourselves. Mystery is not a problem to solve. It is a space to dwell in. Think of the sky above you even now, even if clouds or city lights keep it hidden. Behind that veil, stars are still burning, galaxies are still spinning, pulsars are still ticking. Quasars blaze at the edge of time. Black holes wait in silence. Nebulae bloom in colors we cannot see. All of it continues whether we watch or not. The universe does not require our attention, and yet it allows us to look. That in itself is miraculous. And think of the small world beneath that sky, the sound of your breath, the rhythm of your heart, the quiet of your room. These too are part of the cosmos. You are not apart from the universe. You are one of its expressions, one of its brief and beautiful experiments in being. When you reflect on the strange discoveries out there, you are also reflecting on yourself, for the same elements, the same rhythms flow through you. So the conclusion is not a conclusion at all. It is an invitation to keep wondering, to keep noticing, to keep resting in the strangeness that surrounds you. When you walk outside tomorrow, glance up, even if only for a moment. When you hear rain or see the moon or catch the flicker of a distant star, remember that you are inside the same mystery we have been speaking of tonight. You are not separate. You are part of the story. Take a slow breath. Inhale the vastness. Exhale the calm. Let the open-endedness of this journey feel like comfort, not incompleteness. The universe does not give us neat endings. It gives us horizons. And horizons are not walls. They are invitations to keep going, to keep looking, to keep dreaming. And so as this story softens to its close, hold the question like a lantern in your mind. Not heavy, not demanding, only glowing faintly, reminding you that wonder is never finished. It is always waiting, always near, always ready to accompany you into sleep, into waking, into every quiet corner of your life. As we drift toward the final breaths of this night's story, let us pause for a quiet invitation. Not a demand, not an instruction, only an opening, a soft reminder that the journey of wonder does not need to end here. Perhaps you are already half asleep, your thoughts dissolving into dreams. If so, let them carry you. The universe will still be here when you wake. But if you are still listening, still awake in the hush of the room, know that you are welcome to return. This corner of calm will always be waiting like a familiar path through the woods, ready to guide you back whenever curiosity stirs again. If you wish, you may leave a trace of your journey tonight, a simple note of where you listened from or what image lingered with you or which mystery stayed close. Each comment is like a star, added to our shared constellation, glowing quietly alongside others across the world. You may choose to subscribe too, so that whenever the night feels long, you will know there is another story waiting to meet you, another thread of wonder to follow. There is no urgency, no pressure. The universe does not rush, and neither should we. This is only a gentle invitation, like a hand extended, like a door left slightly open. If you feel drawn to step through, you may. If not, you are already part of the journey, simply by being here, simply by listening, simply by wondering. Take another slow breath. Inhale the stillness of the night. Exhale the last traces of the day. Let your body rest, let your mind soften. Whether you sleep now or later, whether you stay or return, you have already shared in something larger than yourself, and that too is enough. Soon we will leave you with one final image, a glimpse of what lies beyond this night, a hint of the next story waiting just out of sight. For wonder is never finished. It always asks us to look further. The night has carried us far across galaxies and questions, through myths and metaphors, into the quiet folds of science and philosophy. And now, as this story softens to its end, we linger at the edge of sleep, standing once more before the horizon. The lantern of mystery still glows, not extinguished, only waiting. Before we part, let us look gently toward what comes next. If tonight we have walked among the strangest discoveries of the cosmos, then tomorrow we may ask, what about life? Not just stars and galaxies, but the fragile spark that flickers in oceans, in soil, in atmospheres both near and far. Could it be that somewhere hidden in the folds of the universe, life has already begun its own quiet story? Imagine the faint trace of water vapor in the atmosphere of a distant world, drifting across a telescope's lens. Imagine the shadow of a small moon, circling a giant planet, carrying with it oceans beneath ice. Imagine the soft possibility that when we listen to the sky, we may one day hear not just the pulse of stars, but the breath of something alive. This is the journey waiting for us. From the mysteries of matter and energy, we turn to the mysteries of life itself. How it began, how it endures, how it may already be echoing in places we cannot yet reach. Just as tonight we found wonder in strangeness, so too will we find wonder in possibility. But for now, rest. Let the next question wait, like a seed planted in your thoughts, quiet and patient, ready to bloom when the time comes. You do not need to hold it tightly. Let it settle softly, like starlight fading at dawn, promising that the story will continue. Take one final slow breath. Inhale the calm of the universe. Exhale into its endless horizon. Let your body sink fully into stillness. Let your mind drift toward dreams. The night is long, the cosmos is vast, and wonder is always near. Until next time, sleep well and let curiosity walk beside you into the dark.